Good evening. Thanks for staying up with us tonight. Lowndes County investigators are investigating after a man is injured after being hit by a truck. Well, it happened just after 9 on Land Road, just off of Highway 373. Well, crews say that the man was unconscious when they arrived and appeared to have serious injuries. We're told that the man is being transported to a Tupelo hospital. We'll get out your scorecards. It's election season here in Mississippi. Chris McDaniel, a Tea Party Republican, changed his mind this week about challenging Republican Senator Roger Wicker. And now he plans to join what could be a free-for-all special election to replace the retiring Thad Cochran. Our Parker King spoke with a political analyst, Dr. Marty Wiseman, to find out what this could mean for Mississippi politics.
State Senator Chris McDaniel switched to the November 6th special election for retiring U.S. Senator Thad Cochran's seat. That race is one of many political twists and turns in Mississippi.
It's going to be 36 months of just very intriguing politics all the way around.
Dr. Marty Wiseman is the former director of the Stennis Institute of Government and Community Development at Mississippi State University. He says McDaniel may have given himself more time to build his campaign between now and November, but his competition is former U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Mike Espy, a name as notable as Roger Wicker's.
It's not going to be any picnic beating him with his name recognition, so he's going to have to take it very seriously.
What's different about the November election is it's a free-for-all. Any candidate from any party willing to raise the funds can run.
Looking at the special election, because what you have there, whether you have 5 or 105 elected, everybody's in one pack, and whoever gets 50% plus one can win on the first day.
Or it could go into a runoff between the top two candidates. Tensions between McDaniel and state Republicans could potentially give Espy the upper hand.
You get 3 or 4 Republicans in there because you don't want McDaniel in there, the establishment side of the Republican Party, then and the Democrats coalesce around Espy, and you could have Espy take advantage of that 50% plus one because it gets split all over the place with the Republicans.
Which could give Espy a clear shot at the vacant seat, a seat Cochran kept red for over 40 years. Parker King, WCBI News.
The winner of the special election would only have the seat until 2020, so whoever wins this time will only have a short time to refill their war chest. Well, time now to get a first look at our forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Keith, we're here late tonight, but it's...
Well, the other question is it St. Patrick's Day yet? It's just a couple of minutes away at this point. We're approaching midnight. That's how it looked earlier today with our Alpha Insurance time lapse from Columbus. Some clouds, some showers moving on through. We've got temperatures holding steady about 60 degrees right now. No rain on our live Doppler radar. Can't rule out a little rain tonight, but not a big event for us. But look at the next 24 hours here in Columbus. Hovering around 60, back up to around 80 on Saturday afternoon. Now, we will start out with a lot of cloud cover tomorrow, Scott, but break up some of those clouds and get very warm. Storm chances return, though, more in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Keith. Well, foster families in Mississippi are making big sacrifices, but a bill pending at the state capitol would give them some financial help. House Bill 1566 creates some new tax breaks and doubles some existing ones. Well, both could benefit foster children and families. Courtney Ann Jackson explains.
House Bill 1566 would pave a new way to help foster families and children in Mississippi.
Everybody can do something. And that's what we're asking everybody to really think about here is here's an opportunity for everyone. Those who may not be able to bring someone into their home, may not be able to adopt a child, they can give some money to an organization that promotes that to go a long way in addressing this issue.
The new tax credit would be for people who donate to charities that serve foster kids.
We get to $1 for dollar up to $1,000 credit towards their state taxes.
This is a model that's been successful in Arizona, where they've also struggled with their foster care system. They have a $1 for dollar tax credit system that supports the foster children.
Some of the services that nonprofits can offer would be, for instance, if you get a child in foster care, you might need a bed right away. You're going to need a backpack. You're going to need school supplies. You're going to need clothing. You're going to need food. And so this is a way that nonprofits can step in and assist these families to provide assistance to foster care kids.
Another Another aspect of the legislation would double tax credits for families who are adopting, including those who were fostering to adopt. It would go from $2,500 to $5,000.
It's going to help more middle-class families adopt. It's going to help more middle-class families help kids in foster care who are longing to be adopted. For families that really are longing to adopt, that have it in their hearts to adopt, that little bit of extra money can help.
The governor created a Faith and Community Partnerships Advisory Council that's been advocating for this legislation.
There are thousands of churches of all denominations across this great state. And if one family in each church would make it a priority to be a part of the solution, we could solve the foster care crisis in Mississippi.
That was Courtney Ann Jackson reporting. This bill is now in conference, and House and Senate members will try to hammer out a compromise before the final passage. Well, the Columbus School Board continues the search for the next person to lead the district. Applications will be taken up until next Friday. The Board of Trustees hope to make a decision by June 4th. Now, former Superintendent Dr. Philip Hickman was fired in January. Board leaders want people to attend upcoming community stakeholder meetings that start next week.
Thus far, from the reportings I've gotten back, we've had a good application flow coming in. Of course, MSBA continues to reiterate that most of the applicants will submit the last week or so of the window closing. That window for our search will close on at 5 p.m. on Friday, March the 23rd.
The board also discussed potential litigation this morning in executive session. No information was released from that session. The investigation continues after a case of vandalism at Houston High School this morning. Law enforcement, fire, and school officials are working around the clock to get things back in order. Our Victoria Bailey, she spent the day on the campus and has more on the cleanup and an arrest.
Tense moments for the Houston School District as the high school became the target of a vandal.
Water sprinkler systems had gone off. There had been a fire set in our home ec room, our old home ec room, and lots and lots of technology destroyed.
We received this call this morning about 1:30 or 2. Officer arrived on scene. Here at the high school for a fire alarm. Went off, and we got down here. The officer approached the door here, and I kept seeing this guy walking around on the inside. You know, he didn't know if it was an employee here or what. So
that guy was 20-year-old former Houston High School student Patrick Nichols. Houston Police Chief Billy Voll says shortly after the officer checked the scene, Nichols let him in and the officer was able to make an arrest. Nichols was charged later Friday morning.
Well, one of them going to be arson, fellow mystery, and a burglary.
Yes, sir.
More charges pending.
Houston School Superintendent Tony Cook says he's hurt this happened, but so happy to have community volunteers to help with the cleanup.
You don't prepare specifically for an incident like this. You hope they don't happen. I just appreciate everybody jumping in and doing what they've done. I mean, it's at 2:30 this morning when I got here, I thought, wow, we'll be a week out of school. But these guys have done an amazing job.
Now, Houston High School will be opening to welcoming students back on Monday as scheduled. Cook says if anything changes, he'll make an announcement sometime on Sunday.
Clouds moving down through Vernon, Alabama today. Our Alpha Insurance time lapse at Durham's Pharmacy. Warm this weekend, but we do have some storms lurking by Sunday. The full forecast is next.
Your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Here's our Alpha Insurance time lapse from Tupelo today. Clouds moving down through. We've had some rain showers around the region today. Temperatures were a little bit cooler earlier today. Now we've actually moderated a little bit. Now as we get into the end of the weekend, Sunday evening, Sunday night, there's a chance for some strong storms, maybe a complex of storms that will move across the region. So that would be storm complex number 1. Number 2 could actually be Monday afternoon across eastern Mississippi and Alabama. So we have 2 potential rounds of strong to severe storms, all because of that energy way out there in California. It's a long ways away from us right now, but we're watching out for that because that could give us some of those storms later this week. Now, we've actually moderated the warmest temperature of the day right now in Columbus, 61 degrees, 60 in Tupelo. We still have a warm, moist southerly breeze at about 10 to 15 miles per hour across the Twin States tonight. So we will stay mild. Temperatures basically holding steady all night long. And in Tupelo, it looks like we're going to be back into the 70s by noon and around 80 in the afternoon. And that's a pretty good proxy for a good chunk of our region tomorrow. Upper 70s to low 80s around here. We will push those rain chances farther to the south, closer to the Gulf Coast. Now, here's Futurecast tomorrow morning. When you wake up, we will likely see an extensive cloud cover around here. So don't be alarmed that your Saturday is going to be a complete disaster. I think by noon and early afternoon at the latest, we'll see some nice breaks develop in those low clouds. And then rain chances return by Sunday afternoon, and then Sunday evening we'll have an opportunity for some stronger storms as this warm front boundary lifts back to the north. We tend to see complexes of storms develop along warm fronts, and some of those could be on the stronger side. As we get into Monday afternoon, we may see some additional storms fire up right along that cold front right there. And those would be potentially a little bit stronger, a little bit more robust if they do happen to develop. So we'll just wait and see how this all plays out. On the backside of all of this, we'll have some cooler air sweep on back in here for the middle of next week. Ironically, just in time for the start of spring on Tuesday, we fall back into the 50s, lows getting back down into the 30s, maybe another chance for a frost or freeze by midweek. But this weekend we are warm, around 80 on Saturday, 75 Sunday, better rain chances by the afternoon. Strong storms possible on Monday, still very, very warm. So there's your 7-day forecast, a bit of a roller coaster ride.
Well, an Arkansas woman traveling through North Mississippi, she's giving a shout out to some Itawamba County deputies and Fulton officers after they help her catch her dog. Well, listen to this. Mary Farmer of Bentonville, she was on the way to Atlanta for work when she stopped to walk her dogs. This fella here, Bacon, he decided to go after a squirrel and broke loose. Well, in a post on Facebook, she calls the officers heroes for coming to the rescue and helping her get Bacon back. We spoke with Bacon's owner earlier, and she said, quote, "Those guys rocked." Good deal there. Well, most college towns are kind of dead during spring break, but that's not the case in Starkville. We look at what's keeping locals and some others hopping when we come back.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
Welcome back, everyone. Thousands of college sports fans are pouring into Starkville this weekend. The NCAA tournament is in town, as well as women's tennis and men's baseball teams in action. The college town is preparing for a big rush. Our Quentin Smith visited Starkville. He joins us live with more on the excitement that's buzzing around town. Hey, Quentin.
Hey, Scott. Stark Vegas is a popular destination for many this weekend. Fans from near and far are trucking into town, and the city is excited to cash in on the visitors taking in all of the sights. This weekend is an exciting time to be a Bulldog. 3 teams are in action, thousands of fans are in town, and many would call it a dream weekend for those who love their maroon and white.
It's good to know that the university's growing and that the fan base is growing and that our programs are growing and that we're competing well.
John Walker is a huge MSU fan and says the thing he's most excited about this weekend is watching the women's team play in the NCAA tournament.
I mean, the excitement of like having a chance maybe of winning and making it to the winning the national championship.
But while he's excited for some hoops, others have their attention set on the baseball diamond this weekend.
You know, as a former athlete, a baseball athlete myself, you know, a top 20 matchup like Mississippi State and Vanderbilt, you know, it's a classic, especially here at the New Dude. So really excited about that.
However, with fans split between their favorite teams to watch this weekend, one thing remains certain. The busy weekend makes for a big economic boost for local businesses.
It's just like being in a much bigger city. You know, in a store our size, it'll be people all over the place. And, you know, we'll be running from here to there trying to help people and make sure they can find what they're looking for.
Sports Center store manager Bobby Craig says they've been preparing for this big rush well in advance. He's bringing in extra staff and making sure everything is well stocked.
Starkville tends to be a hub, and if you're not prepared, you're not going to be able to provide good service.
I love the chaos. I love the chaos. I like it being busy.
Melissa Shoemake is the assistant general manager at the Hilton Garden Inn. She says they're also reaping the benefits from the busy weekend. Not only are they all booked up, but 3 of the opposing teams are staying at the hotel for the next few days.
You know, it's one of those things we really need, actually, because I think this town kind of depends on that. It depends on things like this coming in for us.
There's also a Youth League baseball tournament going on this weekend in Starkville as well. For a full list of the schedules and time that the 3 MSU teams will be playing, just visit our website at WCBI.com.
The journey back to the Final Four begins for Mississippi State in less than 24 hours. More on tourney preps next in sports.
The Bulldogs' journey to the Final Four starts tomorrow. It's the first ever time the Bulldogs enter the tournament as a 1 seed, and it'll be Nicholls State to get its first crack at MSU. The Colonels are riding a 7-game win streak. The Bulldogs preparing today for Nicholls State coming to town. The Colonels, they're riding on that 7-game win streak. It includes impressive comeback wins as they took home the Southland Conference Tournament Championship. Vic Schaefer says he's impressed with Nicholls State's composure under pressure.
And are very well coached, play extremely hard. They don't get rattled. They've been down in all 3 games in the conference tournament and came back to win. They're on a really good streak right now. They've won 11 out of 12, I believe, 7 in a row. So we're expecting a heck of a challenge tomorrow night. I have a tremendous amount of respect for their program, for Coach. I know what those kids can do. I've seen enough film on them, and so we've done nothing but pay attention to them.
Mississippi State and Nicholls State tip off around 5 p.m. on ESPN2 tomorrow, or whenever the Syracuse and Oklahoma State game wraps up. Could be some time. Hopefully there's not triple overtime, and the Bulldogs will be on approximately 5 o'clock. But let's talk about madness. Folks, we are living in a historic time here in men's college basketball as the first ever 16 seed defeated a 1 seed tonight. University of Maryland, Baltimore County defeats the #1 overall seed Virginia by 20, 74-54. It's the first ever win. I mentioned they are now 1-135 in the history of the NCAA men's college basketball tournament, and it is also the largest win by a 14 seed or lower in the history of college basketball. How about that? Take a bow, Terriers. They're the Terriers, so the good boys are going home with a W tonight. Also in the SEC, Auburn squeaks by Charleston. The 4-13 matchup, if you've been paying attention, has been the weird upset one. That now makes it 2-2, I think, between 4 and 13 seeds. So Auburn's able to squeak by. Missouri is in a battle with Florida State right now. They're down by 14, I think, last time I checked. And so that would mean the SEC would go 6-2 on the day. Or on the weekend for the NCAA tournament. I wish I could show you these highlights, but the NCAA broadcasting rights just won't let me do it. So maybe tune in tomorrow. So let's talk some baseball. In the midst of March Madness, SEC baseball season has arrived. The Bulldogs opening conference play in Starkville. Let's go over to the new dude for some baseball. Mississippi State facing off against Vanderbilt, 2 ranked teams in the SEC opener. Top 1 we go. Connor Pilkington on the mound. Catches a man looking for strike 3. So Bulldogs getting things going early. Bottom 2nd for Mississippi State. No score. Justin Foscue is going to rip a shot to left. That's going to be a base hit for a single. Base hits would come in a premium for the Bulldogs in this one. Trying to get something going in the 2nd inning. 2 outs. Dustin Skelton hits a deep shot to center. He would fly out, though, to end the inning. So top 3rd, we go for Vanderbilt. 1 runner on. Pat DeMarco is going to take this Pilkington pitch for a ride. Deep shot to center. Jake Mangum's made some incredible plays, but he can't make yet another incredible play at the wall. Ball hits the turf, and that's going to bring home some runs. Julian Infante scores. And And Pat DeMarco, he's rounding third. He's going for gold. Gets in safe at the plate for the inside the park home run. I mentioned base hits would come at a premium for Mississippi State. Vanderbilt blanks the Bulldogs in the SEC opener 5-0. Ole Miss baseball's incredible win streak comes to an end. They lose in the SEC opener 8-6 to Tennessee. Tough loss for the Rebels. They're now 17-2, 0-1 in the SEC. Ryan Rollison, 11 Ks, but 4 earned runs. Ole Miss wasn't able to close it late. Rebels will look to get back to series even tomorrow afternoon. So also on softball, Mississippi State softball is on an absolute tear, folks. They win their SEC opener 4-0 over Missouri on the road. The Bulldogs are now 24-3 and riding a 12-game win streak. So Mississippi State red hot on the softball field. Ole Miss drops a tough one, 7-3 to South Carolina in a ranked matchup. Ole Miss has 1-6 in their last 7 games after a 9-game winning streak. Rebels will try and figure things out and tie up the series coming up tomorrow as well. That does it for sports. A last look at your forecast is next.
WCBI sports coverage of MSU women's basketball is brought to you by OCH Regional Medical Center, advanced medicine, compassionate care, and visit Columbus, the city that has it all.
Love is officially in the air here at WCBI. 2 of our very own have put a ring on it. Just this evening, our technical director, Shane Reese, proposed to his girlfriend, Sophia Parham. The cameras caught the happy moment, and we talked to them after. They're ecstatic, all giggles and smiles. But wait, that's not all. Sports anchor Tom Ebel, he popped the question too. Here's a few pictures from their engagement earlier this week. His fiancée, Amanda, she's actually a teacher here in Columbus. Congratulations to the both of you guys and ladies.
All right, very cool. Weather-wise, what?
Sorry.
What's going on here? I was going to say, like, we're a month late. Valentine's Day was a month ago. This is St. Patrick's Day. All right.
Have a good night, guys.